Hey, what's up, everyone? That's a tap with DJ CT back for another episode. Hope you missed us. And we're going to talk about the year that was, man. We're obviously going to talk about some confirmed fights to look forward to coming up. But before we do
Yeah.
that, DJ, my man, how you doing?
Yeah, doing good, CT. How's life?
Can't complain. Festive
Yeah,
season. Enjoying some
absolutely.
time with family. I know you
Yeah,
are as well. And
yeah.
we hope
Back in a
everyone
few extra
listening,
times. Yeah.
yeah, is enjoying themselves, indulging,
Yeah.
and
No,
yeah, looking forward to some fights or watching fights wherever you're at. Um,
yeah.
how are you doing?
Yeah, man, doing great. Indulging for sure. It's the holiday season, so that's that one pass that we get with Christmas just around the corner. But you're right, man. Like plenty of stuff to talk about, plenty of announced fights. Big year ahead in 2025 for combat sports fans. It's one of those sports that keeps getting bigger and bigger because every time a card finishes or a fight finishes, the next fight's lined up. It's even bigger than the previous one. So yeah, look, some exciting fights to talk about. I think we're going to talk about who we talk, some key recognition for last year in the MMA world as well in terms of like the event of the year. Uh, who we thought the fight of the year was. I'm keen to discuss that. But yeah, look, straight off the bat though, UFC Sydney is shaping up really well. UFC 312. We do have a main event and a co-main event now. Give us your thoughts, CT. What do you think? What do you think of what's been announced so far? Which is not much. Which is not much.
Yeah, I'm liking what I'm seeing so far. I think it was, a whole heap of mystery, man, surrounded like what we're gonna get with, some stumbling blocks like there usually is, hosting a big card in Australia where the
Yeah.
travel is involved, the foreign fighters that have to come down, and the tax lack of tax breaks that some foreign fighters get for fighting on Australian shores. But we're making good progress for a solid card. I think Sydney's been
Mm,
a little bit of a letdown compared to Perth, but I like what we're seeing so far.
yeah.
Obviously, Strickland, Duplessis, doesn't get any bigger names than that. There's going to be a lot of heat. For those that might be surprised, we're wearing our singlets because we're in the middle of summer, and I know a lot of
Yeah.
you might have winter Christmas wherever you're at, but yeah, we're in the middle of summer down under, and the
Yeah.
heat is going to be brought, man. What are you looking forward to with the Sydney
Man.
card?
Oof. Yeah, look, another middleweight main event for Australia. Again, two guys who were technically not the home fighters. They both fought Adesanya the last time they were here, but they did seem to have a big crowd reception, both of them, Duplessis and Strickland. And now they're both fighting each other. Solid main event. I was a bit surprised because I did think after the finish that Hamzat had over Robert Whitaker that he would be getting the shot because it seemed like that was the obvious choice. And it seemed also like the one that probably maybe the fans wanted more because of the utter domination that Chimaev showed against arguably one of the best middleweights in the world. Um, but that's not to be. But we also know that there was this talks that Strickland was locked in for that title, shot against DDP, and that seems to be what the direction the UFC's taken. But I can guarantee you the winner is going to face Hamzat Chimaev, and guess what? He's going to be in the crowd. So he had an Australian tour planned right about now, but that got postponed to February to coincide with the event, which rightfully so. I think those things make the event more exciting, man. Like having that next contender lined up and ready to go, and sort of having that face off moment if possible. So yeah, it's going to be a pretty solid fight. I don't want to sort of break it down or preview that now. I think we'll do that closer to the event. But yeah, pretty good, pretty solid main event. I'm happy with that. That's enough for me to buy that ticket if I were to go. Then the core main man, like you got Zhong Wei Li, the Chinese champion, defending a title again after I believe UFC 300 was when she last fought. So it's been a minute since she fought. She's coming back up against a undefeated, dangerous fighter in Tatiana Suarez, who was always touted to be the champion of that division. She was compared to Khabib a lot in terms of his grappling prowess. Then we get to see her now, at the top of the top, which is fighting for the championship against one of the best champions we've seen in Weili Zhang. It's going to be a tough matchup for Weili, and likewise for Tatiana Suarez as well. Since coming back, since that hiatus due to an injury, coming back, she's had a dominant run, and she's just kind of continued where she uh, stepped off. And yeah, look, it's going to be a great matchup. But the rest of the card's still shaping up. There's rumors that Hooker might be fighting Gaethje. Man, what a fight that will be! Imagine that in the main card. And forget about all other fights. That alone, it's going to be enough to get people to purchase the tickets and the pay per views. Hey, we are hopeful that we can be there. I know we say this all the time. You've been lucky to be able to attend some of the pay per views recently in Perth. We missed the last Sydney one. Hopefully, we can make this one. It's a few things logistically to look at, but we are hopeful.
Yeah, definitely, man. And I think it's always special when the UFC comes to our shores, and we've been blessed to see a lot of huge matchups that I'll certainly never forget. The Volk, Islam one comes to mind. The Volk
Has to be the
Islam one
best.
in Perth. But yeah, man, look, Hooker. I mean, they promised that man a local fight. Like he's fought
Yeah.
last minute. He's fought all over the world. Get that man a local fight for once, And obviously the UFC doesn't go to New Zealand often
Yeah.
enough. So yeah, I'll love to see him, man, on the Australian card. But yeah, outside of that, any recent announcements, we're going to talk about the our favorite fights of the year, the card and
Mm.
fighter of the year,
Mm.
submission of the year.
Yeah.
I'll throw you on the spot like right away in
Hey,
terms of
but
yeah,
before we go to that, can we also touch on, because this card deserves a shout out, man. Like the very first card that we're gonna witness in 2025, which is also the first event back, is UFC 311 in California, isn't it? Los Angeles, the Inuit Dome, apparently. I hope I said that name right.
yeah, correct,
Islam
yeah,
Makhachev, Islam Makhachev versus Arman Sarukian main event, co-main, Umar Nurmagomedov versus Merab for the bantamweight title. And man, you got Jamal Hill and Iri Prohashka. You got Renato Moicano and who's he fighting? Oh, Benil Darius.
yeah,
Jesus Christ,
banger,
man! This is a banger card, man, to begin the year. Like, I mean, we always talk about the event of the year, but they're pretty solid contention straight off the bat. How do you like? What a stacked card! Oh man, your man's in it. Kevin Holland, the main card opener against Renier de Ridder. So he was from one championship, if I'm not mistaken. He was a champ there, and he's had a victory in the UFC since coming into the UFC. So high hopes on that fight. That's a great matchup. We've got the prelims, man. You got another one of your favorite, Johnny Walker's in the card. Is the feature prelim. And then we got some Charlton Almeida, another heavyweight matchup. Man, this is a great card. Whoa.
yeah.
I
Nah,
can't I
man,
can't wait for this card.
yeah, it certainly stacks up. For those that don't know, that the Inuit Dome in Inglewood, Los Angeles, Inglewood, California, a brand new $1 billion arena just sort of basically got completed. Home of the LA Clippers in the NBA. They got their own arena finally now after their $1 billion owner. So yeah, new venue that was set to host a marquee venue. So I'm not surprised that the UFC has hit that up now for a massive event and stack the card. So yeah,
Ah,
yeah, LA is going to get a big card.
there you go, man. I knew, like, being a basketball fan, I knew you'd know everything about this arena. Is that for the LA Clippers? Is that the home of the LA Clippers?
Yeah,
Did
that's
I
it.
say that right?
They they
Yeah.
used to share. They used to share
Yeah, I got a
the
basketball jersey
yeah.
on.
Oh, what a team.
Boston Celtics. I don't know who they are, but I just like how they look.
Yeah,
Um,
so yeah, that card's stacked. But yeah, we had a lot of stacked cards this year, DJ.
yeah, man.
So let's start with our card of the year. right? And
Card of the year. Ooh.
I'll keep you on the spot.
All right. All right.
What was your card of the year and why? Why was it?
All right. Can I give I want to do three honorable mentions and pick one out of that because it was hard to because there's been some of these categories have like a lot of good contenders. So event of the year for me, the ones that made the cut for me was UFC 298, which was in February, all the way back in February. UFC 300 in April, and then UFC 308 in Abu Dhabi. This is not to say the other events were dud, but it's just saying these for me stood out the most out of all the events. There were events where there were some really solid main events and a couple of fights here and there, all that. But yes, for me as an event, top to bottom, these were the three: 300, 298. 298 was these all events that the couple of these events had a heartbreak for us. 298 was where Walt lost to Ilya Tapuria. And then 300, obviously we know the iconic 300, which was the headline by Jamal Hill. If I'm not, yeah, Jamal Hill versus Pereira. That's still going on. That rivalry is still going on. And you got 308 headlined by Tapuria versus Holloway. And for all like various reasons, man. Any card Alex Pereira headline I thought were great cards, purely carried so heavily by the main event. But also, funnily enough, like the other two cards that I mentioned were Ilya Tapuria headlined. But for me, the reason that I'm picking these cards was because they were first of all they all delivered, top to bottom. The fights delivered. That's one. And then the other part of it was also like sort of the excitement after the event. Usually on paper, some cards speak a lot, but they don't deliver as such. Whereas these cards I felt delivered. Having said that, the one that I picked for event of the year was UFC 308 in Abu Dhabi. That be man.
Oh,
I mean, I know
yeah.
Whitaker lost, and it was a tough one, but man, was that an exciting card? Like every single fight delivered, man, and performances were outstanding. And sheesh, can't talk enough about that card.
Nah, man, I love it. Some great options. Just so we're not like, you know, mirroring each other. I'll just say honorable mention, maybe third. I
Mm-hmm.
like 302. Um,
Yeah.
Dustin Poirier Islam.
Ooh.
When
Yeah, that was a
Strickland beat Costa and yeah, Kevin Holland, and it was in the main.
yeah,
Beat yeah, and Nico Price as well.
yeah,
Yeah, but yeah, Islam Poirier. I think that's sort of a really legacy sort of main card, main
yeah,
event.
yeah,
We're probably only going to see Poirier one more time,
yeah,
um,
yeah.
so look forward to that. Obviously, 300 has to be
Has to
amongst
be
it.
there. Yeah.
Um, hey, I'll give you an underrated one, man. 301 Brazil.
Oh,
Um,
hey, it was a good event. The
hey,
main event delivered
let me
for
explain
our boy
why.
Urseg.
Let me explain why, man. That set us on a completely crazy path because main card, yeah, Anthony Smith got the win, right, and he was
Yep.
building some momentum, and now, we've come full circle, and he's basically retiring.
Yeah.
Josie Aldo, his fight to get back into
Yeah.
the UFC,
Yeah.
um, wins, and basically he's got moving on now, or moving forward.
Yeah.
And Alexandre Pantoja, who's
Yeah.
basically came within a whisker of losing to Steve Urseg, and then
Yeah.
now he's basically deemed unbeatable, and
Yeah.
we don't know what's coming next. So
Okay.
um, that was crazy, but yeah, 300 Pereira Hill. I mean,
Yeah.
controversial finish, putting him to sleep, and then we're going to see those two again. But yeah, I
Probably
agree
going
with you,
together.
man. 208, 299.
Yeah, they were solid
Um,
cards too. Yeah.
yeah, Poirier beating Saint Denis,
Yeah.
um, O'Malley beating Vera for
Yeah.
299. They were stacked. Look, MSG was great, but obviously it was just so I wish the Stipe Jones one was a bit more even.
More
Um,
competitive, yeah. And a little
yeah,
bit more stacked. The card wasn't stacked as such.
yeah, man, definitely. So yeah, that's our cards. Let us know in the
Wait,
comments
what's
your
your best event of the year?
my event of the year. I'll probably go. Look, it's so close, but yeah, 298, 298 or
298. Yeah, yeah,
300.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, I like both of them. Yeah. They
yeah,
were in my top three, yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Nice.
All right, so let's pivot now that we've talked about these cards, DJ. What about fighter of the year? Right, give us your
Fighter of
top
the year.
three as well. Start from the third,
There's,
second, and then your
there's only
fighter
two,
of the
man.
year.
In my opinion, there's only two. That's what I believe. Hey, but also before
No,
we say
not
that,
like
isn't
as
it?
in like fighter of the year, but like just give me them ranked. Like who's the third fighter of the year, the
Oh yeah, yeah,
second, and then the
yeah,
first.
yeah. No, absolutely. But also, just before we go to that, isn't it interesting that neither of us mentioned UFC 307 as one of the events of the year, given it happened in the Sphere and they spent so much money. I don't think a lot of people are picking that as the event of the
Yeah,
year. It goes to show like you can have production value, but at the end of the day, the event and then the fights matter. You know what I mean? Like how the fights pan. It was a beautiful event in terms of the presentation. Absolutely unrivaled. But at the end of the day,
but
we're there to watch MMA.
yeah, that's on the UFC in a way. Like you're 100% right because they
Yeah,
decided they chose to not stack it as much as they
yeah,
could for fights because
yeah,
the production was what was supposed to steal the show.
yeah,
Look, like rest assured, if UFC really wanted to, they could have put every best fight that they wanted and made that the biggest best ever card ever.
yeah.
But for whatever reason, they chose not to. Would you agree?
I agree, man. Like I think, but also there was a leak that I think ruined it for everyone. Someone leaked it, probably fake, but they're like, "Oh, leaked 308 card," and the headliner was Holloway to Poria, and then co-main was O'Malley Marab, and that all of a sudden, made a huge deal. Everyone was, oh wow, two massive fights, and then going to from that to what we had in the end wasn't a bad card, but come on, like there's. But I understand maybe there was expense restraints, budget restraints, and they spent a lot of money on the production. They couldn't really afford to sort of have as much big names in there as well. So, but look, it is what it is. It was a strategic decision. It was still a profitable event. It's just that I just think from a performance point of view, it wasn't like if yeah for production and the best looking event easily, man. I think it'll
Yeah,
it'll win the award like for 5 years to come. Unless
yeah,
someone does it again. But yeah, okay. Fighter of the year. Okay, so I don't have a top three. I have a top two.
yeah.
Because
Okay.
like I just feel like if you want me to go top three, right? If you want me to go top three, let's see. I didn't think it that through. I thought about the top two guys. I didn't really think about who the other one will be,
You
but
could just go to the rankings. If I look at the pound for pound rankings or
yeah,
yeah, different division rankings.
I'd probably go with like, look, two of them are going to be champions. The two that I have in mind are champions, and they're the ones who are being debated about currently. I'd just probably go, hey, let's give it to the guy who had the last event of the year, Buckley. He's had three events, three finishes. You know what I mean? Yeah, let's give him one. He's stirring up the the welterweight division. Um, I got so the guys in the top two are Elliot Tapuria and Alex Pereira. I think their performances speak for themselves. They don't need an explanation as to why they need to be there. Ilya Tapuria for beating Volk and Holloway back to back, not just beating them, but finishing them. Then we got Alex Pereira, who's just stepped up on like a couple of weeks' notice, man, to save events and gone up against dangerous guys. You don't fight Yuri Prohashka yes, he's fought him before, but still to be able to go there, do the finish, going in injured, going in compromised, showing resilience in the face of adversity in the Khalil Roundtree fight, and coming back and having one of the best rounds. Even if there was an award for the best round of the year, I'd give that. Or a best performance in a single round, round four of that fight. where Alex Pereira just goes like God mode. Um, but yeah, look. So that in the end, my award's gonna go to Alex Pereira, man. Like I think just from both guys for so neck and neck, either one winning is no issues at all. They're both well deserved winners of that accolade of fighter of the year. I just Alex Pereira just because of the activity, the carrying those big main events, stepping up, doing what he does, and sort of finishing all those fights. Showing us. Look, it's being like just exciting fights. But again, not to say Ilya didn't either, man. He finished two guys who never people thought could never be finished. So, but yeah, my award goes to Alex Pereira. What about you?
Nice,
Who's your top
nice,
three?
man. Well, I got a curveball or
Oh,
curveballs for you. Um, my fighter of the year, basically. Look, I had to think so hard about it, man. It's just tough. But Conor McGregor is my fighter of the year. Nah, you have to actually fight to be fighter of the year.
It's been fighting
You
in
know,
court, man.
clown of the year, maybe. um, but nah, we got plenty to say on that. When the
Yeah,
when the time's right. But
yeah.
yeah, I'll give four, man, because my fighter of the year, I can't split the two. So my fighter of the year is going to be two guys, but I'll start third. I'm going to
Mhm.
give it to my third fighter of the year coming in is Dricus Duplessis. Um,
Good
Comes
one.
in, own the division, basically got bragging rights, and just
Yeah.
wins his fights, dominantly.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah,
then
yeah, man. How did I miss that? I agree with you.
yes, second would be Islam Makhachev. Continues to be dominant,
Mm.
but yeah, obviously faced a couple. I would say this is a year where he's faced a bit more challenges. Um, but still, yeah, still continues to dominate that division. I think the time's right for him to move up.
Mm.
And then obviously number one, it's probably no surprise now, but the reason I got these two guys and I can't split them is for different reason. Alex
Yeah,
Pereira, like you said, so active and
yeah,
dependable. Mr. Dependable, will dominate box office, the face of the
yeah.
UFC still, I think, as an up and comer, and then John Jones. I just can't split the two for John Jones for a different reason because he only has like one or two fights, but he doesn't fight for so long, but he's just so dominant still,
Mm.
and it just I got to give him that mad respect because
Yeah,
whether it's fighting Cyril Gane and just ending him in seconds, or whether it's Stipe, a heavyweight goat, and just making him look like an old man. I mean,
yeah,
some people say it's too easy or it's light work. I think it's just him that makes it look
yeah,
so
yeah.
easy. I mean, the way he just
Oh,
finished Stipe with a liver kick was just incredible, man.
yeah. No, I agree. But whoa, you don't have Ilya in your list.
Nah, man. I mean,
Damn.
that's that's the thing. It's tough to leave out, but yeah,
Yeah,
man. Ilya impressive, but he would be just right behind Dricus, I think.
yeah.
What about?
Well,
I
yeah.
mean,
After listening to you, I'll probably like take Buckley out and add DDB in there. I forgot that DDB fought twice this year. I forgot that the January one was actually him against Strickland, and then he fought Adesanya, two top tier guys, and doing what he did. But yeah, man, like it's I don't know, like John Jones. I see what you mean, like from like a goat status, but I think it's just that for the year, when we're looking at the fighter of the year, I just feel like one event and
yeah,
Stipe was prime. I don't know. Islam, I agree, man. Like that one fight we saw this year, like he did have a lot of adversity. I mean, that's the most compromise we've seen Islam in terms of taking damage and sort of you had to. While like, he did win 4 rounds on the way to that finish. But Dustin Poirier just was threatening the whole time while that fight was happening. So it was a good performance. I just wish he had fought one more time, like two fights, and we could have, if he had beaten Harman last year as well, this year as well, that could have sort of given him a spot in that fighter of the year conversation. In my books, that is. But yeah, you
and
can never keep his arm out.
you know who else we're leaving out? Like who might people might our viewers from across the pond
Who?
from the UK might be a little upset at us for not even mentioning his
Aspinall.
name, but you could arguably say Tom Aspinall
Yeah. Who did he
deserves to
fight this year
be.
though? Did he fight twice this year, or did he just fight only once?
I think he's fought once, but he's just so dominant.
Yeah, how many years? So let me see. Tom Aspinall.
Yeah,
That's a good question. But yeah, like I feel like they need to fight at least twice for us to be able to. You know what I mean?
true. Yeah, but
Um,
I'm looking at it in a different way, DJ. I'm looking at
like
like
how
I'm looking at like
the
rankings and
domination.
stuff. Like you're still in
Yeah,
the news. You're still the prize fighter. You're still the guy
yeah,
everyone
yeah,
wants to beat, and he's
yeah,
undefeated. So I think
yeah. You can't.
you can't blame inactivity. I think sometimes the UFC don't schedule enough or
Mm.
whatever.
Yeah, and it
Um,
wasn't the guy's fault either, right? He wanted to fight. He wanted to fight, but like he obviously couldn't, and he to the point where he had to end up defending the interim title. Yeah, no, I'm with
um,
you on that one. I'm with you on that one. Yeah,
Before we go on, maybe we got let's say do three more.
yeah,
Let's do the submission and performance of the year.
yeah.
But there's a third one I want to throw in there, man. A curveball for you,
What's
just
that?
a sort of a quick fun one that I'm thinking of a fight, a performance that really stood out to me, but for a courageous reason. Like what's the most courageous performance this season? Do you think from a fighter that sort of showed heart?
Oh man, there's been so many instances, just nothing popping to my mind straight away. Obviously, it's like it'll be someone who's like either gone through an injury and just keeps coming forward.
Yeah,
Um,
I'll give you one then.
yeah,
I
give me
thought
one.
Khalil Roundtree's performance
Oh,
against
yeah,
Pereira. Like I've
yeah,
never seen a guy like physically like beaten up, um,
yeah,
like mentally completely beaten, but just like
yeah,
still didn't give up, just still didn't
yeah,
throw in the towel, man. Like
yeah,
that was absolutely insane, man.
yeah. I'm with you on that one, man. Like the Khalil Roundtree deserved that recognition, and I think yeah, absolutely. I think as much as we were ecstatic about Pereira winning, we also couldn't help but talk about how resilient he also. Let's not forget he gave the most amount of trouble to Alex Pereira as well. So
Yeah,
yeah, no, I'm with you on that one. That was a good segue or a good sort of pivot to yeah, courageous performance. I like that. Yeah, there's a lot. I feel like there's more. It just there's nothing's popping to me because it happens so often in this sport. Do you know what I mean? Like, but yeah, yeah,
yeah,
crazy man.
yeah, no
You
doubt.
know,
And look, we could do a lot of different categories. We sort of do some of this off the cuff as well. So,
yeah, yeah.
um,
Hey, even courageous performance, you can, sort of. We always are so used to looking only at the UFC. There are other organizations as well. One of the things for a different reason, you could say Francis Ngannou, after the tragedy that he suffered, to come back and then finish a fight, finish the champion of the PFL at the time. That's again another courageous performance there. So yeah, yeah, man, I like that. I like that category. There's a lot of good things to discuss in there. Yeah.
yeah, definitely. So let's do submission.
Hmm.
I don't know if you want to do KO slash performance of the year. Um,
Okay.
and let's do the yeah, submission.
Submission of the year, man. For me, like there was a lot of good submissions, even like the DDP one, the Paddy Pimblet. There was a few. For me, like my favorite one was Islam Makhachev against Dustin Poirier. The it was like yes, he was winning that fight. There was a lot of adversity as well. The technicality of getting to that submission and finishing that fight, everything, man. Like the fight IQ, the mentality to be able to finish that, the way that the way he took him down and finished him, 100%, man. Brilliant. So that for me is a submission of the year.
Yeah, yeah, that's hard to beat, man. I agree, man. Anytime you can submit um, Dustin Poirier, like
It
it,
is, yeah, yeah,
it's incredible. Yeah, it's tough, man. Yeah, I gotta agree. Actually, we might agree on this. I'll go with that
yeah,
one as well.
yeah,
Now, performance. Performance overall in a particular matchup
yeah.
slash KO.
Performance, man. Hey, talking of which, another submission of the year category could be Hamza Chimaev submitting Robert Whitaker the way he did and rearranging his jaw, man. Like, that's just, you don't do that to Robert Whitaker. But on that note, I'll probably give him performance of the year because that was something where there's a lot of questions like can he, how does he stand against a top tier guy, world class former world champion Robert Whitaker? How does he do against him? He came in and finished that fight like so quick, man. That was a performance of the year in my opinion. Uh, Ilya Topuria's in that conversation as well. To be honest, like in terms of finishing Walk, and then finishing Holloway, those were two stand-up performances. Alex Pereira's performance against Khalil Roundtree, to be honest, while the one with Heary was more flawless. It's just that the Khalil Roundtree, where I just liked how there was adversity and he's able to adjust, and that's something that I liked. John Jones is in that conversation for doing what he did to Stipe. But yeah, for me, I guess I'll probably go with the Hamza. That was something not many people picked him to do that, and he did it.
Yeah, I like that one, man. I love it. That's great.
Yeah,
And yeah, I've got to show some love to Topuria. I think he would be in my
Mm.
top three.
yeah,
Top three would be one of the Topuria, the finish of Holloway
yeah.
or Volk. But second and first, second I will go Alex Pereira finishing Jamal Sweet Dreams Hill. That
I was going to give
finish
that
where
knockout of the year.
yeah, hey, we're on the same page there. Well, that
Yeah,
sort of catapulted him where it was like, okay, he was supposed to
yeah,
give him a really good threat.
yeah,
And I know there was a little bit of controversy or whatever. Was his guard down when
Mm.
when he got the finish? But yeah, that was just emphatic. And number
yeah,
one, coming in at number one, I've got to give it to John Jones's finish
Mm.
of Stipe.
yeah,
You know how much weight I put on that kind of fight, man. It's a sort of
yeah,
legacy
yeah,
for Jones to just not only beat Stipe, but just do it come up with all sorts of different ways to win fights, like as the supreme mixed martial artist that he is,
yeah,
man. To finish just to toy with Stipe and just finish him with a liver
yeah.
kick was just incredible, man.
No, no, can't argue against that. So yeah, 100%. Um, so wait, what's your knockout of the year?
Good one, man. Knockout of the year. I gotta go, man. In terms of just flashiness, the knee, that that flying knee finish, man. Um, it does the fighter's name, man. It escapes me,
Which event was it?
but the one where he just basically pulled his head down onto the knee.
I feel like I've seen it, but I can't recall it.
Yeah, I've got to bring it up and show it to you, and
Yeah, yeah,
I'll
hundred
I'll
percent.
I'll, I'll salute his name in the comments. But
Yeah,
I
and
think that was probably
yeah,
a KO of the year for me.
crazy. Well, we had the double back fist KO at UFC 308, Shara Magomedov. That was that double back fist for the first time ever. But yeah, I like the Jamal Hill versus Alex Pereira knockout. That was just
Yeah,
bam. Good night.
that was nice. But
Yeah.
hey, let's do a also we've got to give what is your female fighter of the year and male fighter of the year?
I mean, we've done male fighter of the year, which is Alex Pereira. I think both of us picked Alex
Mm,
Pereira. And I think you had a tie. You had Alex Pereira and John Jones in there.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Female fighter of the year. Okay, interesting. I mean, I know Kayla Harrison won that award on the ESPN channel because she had two fights and pretty dominant. Holly Holmes, and then comes and beats Callum Vieira again, another tough opponent. Like, I have no problems with that, man. I think that was good. Uh I don't know, like because the others didn't fight as much. That was a problem. So yeah, I guess we'll go. I'll go with uh what was her name? Um, Cal Harrison.
Kayla Harrison, yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
I'll just go in a different direction, but yeah, she definitely is a toss of a coin.
yeah,
I got to go with let's go with Juliana Pena.
Yeah,
I'll go I'll go Juliana
yeah.
Pena.
Yeah.
Got the
Controversial decision though.
yeah, controversial, but got it
Yeah,
back. Look, it's tough, to face your defeats and then come
yeah,
back and win it
yeah.
again. So yeah, but yeah, Kayla Harrison definitely would probably be
Hey,
the one I would lean towards.
I'm excited for them two to fight though. That's a good fight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, definitely, man. Um, anything else that we're missing before we wrap up?
No, I think we've covered all the key components of it. Just to recap, male fighter of the year. I had Alex Ferreira, you had Alex Ferreira, and John Jones died. Female fighter of the year, I had Kayla Harrison, you had Juliana Pena. Event of the year, you had 298, I had 308. Submission of the year, I think we both had Islam. What else did we do? We did the courageous one. We both had Khalil Roundtree in there. Um, what else did we? Did we have anything else? Nothing. That's it.
Um, yeah, we did card basically. Yeah, we did our
Yeah,
favorite
yeah,
card of the year.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
what about your Dana White reaction or quote of the year or spat of the year? It could be just anything that he
Any,
done.
anything he says to promote the slap fighting. Man. Oh, slap fighting is doing the same numbers as the NFL. There you go. That was my favorite moment.
Yeah. Look, there's so many, but yeah, I like it when he grills, some of the reporters. Um,
When he
I'm
goes
gonna,
off on the pound for pound list.
yeah, let's go with that, man. His insistence on John Jones,
Yeah,
pound for pound, still, despite not fighting as much as Alex or
yeah.
Islam, and then going back and forth with that reporter. Um, but also him raising the bonuses to 300 for the UFC 300, and then he's sort of spit the dummy at the end after the event, say, "I'm never fucking giving bonuses ever again
I
to
think it was
these
after UFC
chumps."
303. Yeah,
303, didn't
yeah,
didn't didn't get any knockouts.
yeah.
It's like, imagine they're all celebrate, you get a bonus for a finish, and then there's no finishes.
No finishes. Other than Alex Pereira got the finish. That's it.
Man. But yeah, look, hope we wish everyone to end the year a lot of festive blessings. Obviously, we'll probably do another show, hopefully a reaction for the big fight, the big boxing
Mm,
fight between Usyk
yeah.
and Fury, and a preview and a
100%.
reaction. But yeah, we want to make sure that everyone's enjoying themselves and obviously enjoying the fights to come, and looking forward to talking about it more with you, DJ.
Likewise, man. Like, we enjoy everyone a Merry Christmas, and obviously catch us in a boxing episode. But if you don't, enjoy the season safely, but with a lot of food and laughter and joy, and we'll see you on the other side of the year.
Yeah, let's go. Peace.